I'm Pat O'Malley, or some people on the internet know me as Pac-Man Pat. You're here at Star Worlds Arcade at 1234 East Lincoln Highway in DeKalb. Star Worlds has been in business for 27, going on our 28th year here. What can I tell you about Star Worlds? Star Worlds has a flavor and an atmosphere like none other, and a lot of it is built upon not only what I do, but a lot of people have donated various things to bring the gaming culture to what it is here at Star Wars Arcade. So let's go inside and take a look. Here at Star Wars Arcade, we tend to focus on a lot of, well, what I call vintage, but now I hear it termed as retro or classic arcade games, as far as video games and pinball. A lot of people seem to like it. We keep some of the newer stuff like Dance Dance Revolution and some of the gun games and some of the crazy taxis and such, because I don't want to just have games that are just vintage. I want to keep on the new things too. Pinball is a big focus of ours. You don't see pinball that often anymore because it's hard to maintain. You have to be very creative, and you have to be technically minded as well as mechanically minded to maintain a pinball machine. And it seems to be a dying art that's out there. And other than us, I know many hobbyists that help us along the way as much as we help them along the way. So it's kind of a cool interaction with the hobbyists and some of our customers that are players, that are actually own some of these games at home. But typically you find pinballs out in the public, and a lot of times they're not clean, they're not maintained well, and it's a job, it's a love, but we do a really good job. We do the best job we can here at Star Worlds.
Okay, so you're going to demonstrate some of these games for us?
Yeah, definitely. Let's see, Hook is the most popular game that we've had at this location since we opened here in 2004. If I took this out of here, I would be in big trouble. I'm not sure, it's very early 90s, it may even be 1990, 91. But it was taken after the movie, then I think that's what people have the love of it. Data East was in business probably for about 10 to 12 years in the pinball market. And like a lot of other pinball companies, they have ceased to be making new pinballs. Stern Electronics is the only pinball manufacturer right now in the whole world. I hear there's another company or two out there playing with a few titles, which is always good to see, competition.
Ball one.
Now this was a dot matrix readout. Is that new for this era, for 1990s?
Yeah.
Or had that been around for some time?
It had been around for a year or two, but this was fairly new technology with the dot matrix.
Now, is Data East known for any particular specialties, something that was their trademark?
Data East started out in video games, and they had some great, huge titles in the late 80s. And I think they got into the pinball market late 80s or early 90s, and I think they had their first pinball was Secret Service or Laser War. I cannot remember. I think it was Secret Service. But they wanted to break into the market, and their pinballs. Hard to talk and play. They mimic inside far as the gameplay. They have a play of their own, like every company. The inside, the inner workings were very much like Williams Electronics pinballs, to the point that I believe there were a few lawsuits between the two companies at points. But Data East has a certain play to it. This model, by the time they got here, there was two-stage flippers in there where you're running one voltage to knock the flipper up and another voltage to hold it. That was fairly new for this technology.
And so this machine has that two-stage flipper?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it also has a lot of, instead of micro switches for your switches or your scoring, they started using optos on pinballs, which typically are a good thing, but sometimes optos can be bad, just like any open and close switch too.
Okay. All right, what's this next one? This got an older scoreboard there.
This has the typical older stuff that you saw through, well, it was the late 80s when you started seeing the alphanumeric score displays that this has, where it actually can spell out words. This is Williams Electronics. This pinball actually is a cool theme to the local area being Chicago here. It's taken after the story of Mrs. O'Leary's cow that tipped over the lantern that started the Chicago fire.
I'm glad you explained it because I couldn't figure out the sound when you put the coin in.
By the
That's
cow.
a cow. Okay. So this is a Chicago-based machine.
Yeah, definitely. And
And it's not based on a movie, it's just a theme-based.
Yeah. And the cool thing of it is it even has the fire bell on the top.
I love the sounds on this machine.
Yeah, the old ragtime. But when you're playing this, your whole basic play on this is you want to trap the balls up in the sides here, and then you want to get multi-ball going on there, and when you have multi-ball and flip. And to a lot of pinball players, they would recognize what I'm going to say here is this has a lot of classic Williams sounds to it, other than the theme music there, but a lot of the target shots that...
Okay, you said a lot of classic Williams type stuff? Okay, so...
It's like the sounds.
Okay.
They synonymously became Williams sound effects, like just the hitting of the targets or hitting the slingshots.
That's interesting to know. I never paid attention that certain brands had certain sounds even, so...
And the one thing about this machine is the reason I will never be getting rid of it for a long time is Fire was put out 2 versions. This is the Champagne edition, and what made that different is the gold or the brass on here, the cabinet's wood grain and not pictures, and in the back glass you saw when the end of the game, you saw the flames rotating.
Right.
And that isn't in all the games. That was only designed in the Champagne edition.
Wow. Now, what kind of production was this one? I've never seen this machine before.
You know, this was fairly big numbers. I mean, I would have to look it up, but there were probably at least, I'm guessing, 6,000 to 7,000 made.
Really? No kidding. Okay.
Now, as far as the Champagne edition, maybe there was a run of 50 to 100 of them. A lot of these went to the executives of Williams Electronics, and what I'm hearing is this one may have been one of those that was in someone's house. Here you're looking at Gottlieb's Caveman, and this is a unique pinball in the way that everyone seems to think that the hybrid of a video game pinball is Baby Pac-Man by Bally Midway, but that is not true. This is the first video game pinball hybrid that was mass-produced out there. There's not too many of these around anymore. A lot of people don't want to maintain them because they are a pain in the butt, but ours is always very good to us. We've been stockpiling parts on it. It was not a huge success for Gottlieb, but back then, in the time when this came out, and I believe it is 81 or 82. Oh no, I know it. It's 82. That Gottlieb saw that the video game market was huge, and they were putting out things like Qbert and Kroll and whatever have you. But they wanted to try to see if they could bring the video game player into the pinball world. And that was the whole philosophy of putting this pinball together.
Okay, so to clarify, this is a Gottlieb machine, and Gottlieb prior to this made only video, right?
No, Gottlieb was a huge pinball manufacturer.
So they did pinball.
Yeah, that was their big claim to fame.
Okay, so they were a pinball company. They wanted to combine video, so they brought video in?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I had it backward then. All right. So you're going to show us how to play this.
Guess I should note this is a wide body pinball, which most pinballs weren't this wide. It was kind of like a special feature. The object of Caveman is to get this up in the caves, your balls up here, to go into the video screen. Let's see if I can do it.
It's interesting how the launch on this one has got just a quick U-turn. It's not a long launch like your most pinballs.
Well, in a way, on a lot of pinballs, you'd call that your skill shot, on how you're going to hit it, to where you're going to let that ball land. Let me try that again and see if I can get into video mode. I noticed actually when you played it, you had no problem getting in there.
No, it took me a game to get in there first. I hate that side out there.
Yeah, the guy, where is he? He's usually in here, at least on Saturdays afternoons. got this the over 5 million on this game. Where is he now when I need him?
5 million?
Yeah,
This is a hard game.
He's good. He's good. I will attempt this one more time. If I can't do it, I guess the omen is that you have to come here to Star Worlds and give it a shot yourself.
Now it switches to the video mode, where you're caveman, you have to kill the green dinosaurs, and don't get killed by the
red ones.
Now what's interesting here is, I noticed that when you lost your caveman, it killed your ball too, right?
Yeah, it did. But there's only one way to get out of that is if you, while the tunnels are open, kind of like on Pac-Man, you go out and it'll still let you keep playing in the pinball if you don't get killed by the...
Now the way it's controlling the caveman, there's actually a joystick on this pinball machine, which is
extremely rare. I don't know of any other pinball that has this style pinball casing video thing where there's a joystick. And
how did there was another video pinball, wasn't there? One of the Pac-Man series?
Baby Pac-Man was kind of the biggest run after that, and believe it or not, there's a lot of people don't know this. A lot of pinball people do. There's actually another one that came out after Baby Pac-Man that didn't do it quite as successful, called Granny and the Gators, which we have, but it's in restoration process right now.
All right. So was this game? You had mentioned that it was kind of a rare one to find. Did it ever catch on?
It was
popularly.
Never, I don't think so. I mean, I think it did okay for the time, but just period in like 1980, 81, 82, those are the golden age of video games. So many great titles were coming out that most people were not playing pinball, and this was an attempt for Gottlieb to bring those players to the pinball tables, but I don't think it was a huge success for them.
I see. Okay.